Through the heart-wrenching and inspirational story of her family's struggle with losing her husband of 24 years, John, to ALS, Rachel Kerr Schneider relates to women who encounter struggles every day in living out their faith. She provides faith-based supports in her book, The Widow Wore Red, speaking in her website where she provides weekly video messages and words of inspiration. Rachel's now married to Kevin, whom she dated long distance for 10 years, and they were married in Israel in 2023. Rachel, welcome to the BRI Talks Stage.
Thank you, Terry Lee. It's been said that life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but rather by the moments that take our breath away. And I'm sure each of you can recall with some ease those moments that have made you gasp in excitement, in sorrow, or in pain. All of them memorable, all of them life-changing. So, in a throwback to David Letterman, let me tell you my top 10 moments that have taken my breath away. Number 1, starting my own business. Number 2, a marriage proposal. Number 3, relocating a lot. Number 4, my parents moved to Australia. Number 5, baby John. Number 6, baby Jake. Number 7, Ronald's death. Number 8, Papa Van's heart attack. Number 9, John's diagnosis. And number 10, telling the boys. Can you name yours? I dare say this may have sparked a memory or two. Isn't it amazing that we who have been so fearfully and wonderfully made, that our body, mind, and spirit can remember, relive, and reflect on events that might have occurred a day ago or decades ago? In the few moments that I have with you today, I want to focus on one of those moments that have taken my breath away and led me to write the book, The Widow Chose Red: My Journey with Jesus, John, and ALS. Like many of you, these detours of our planned life journey often come to us when we least expect them. John and I had been married for 21 years. I had been that trailing spouse, relocating 7 times in 15 years as John climbed the corporate ladder. We were raising our 2 young sons, John and Jake, and I was actively pursuing a successful career in direct sales. Life was busy, beautiful, and blessed. We were a church-going, Jesus-loving family. Perhaps you can relate. John had been an athlete in high school and college, and he was accustomed to those nagging aches and pains that don't subside. But one little issue soon came to blow up our world in a very big way. After a year of this issue not getting any better, the neurologist suggested that John get it checked out during his executive physical. After 3 days of intensive testing, John and I left the Mayo Clinic. That day was as dark and dreary and desolate as we felt. He glanced at me and said, "I have a headache." And I looked at him with tears in my eyes, and I said, "I have a heartache." And with that, we began our journey of ending well. If you don't know anything about ALS, don't worry. I didn't either. It is statistically rare. Only 5,000 to 5,500 people a year are diagnosed with this in the US. And only 30,000 are currently living with ALS in our country. So what are the chances that you would know anyone with it? Well, that was us until it wasn't. ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, isn't a diagnosis that any doctor wants to give, and it's not a diagnosis that any person wants to get. Why? Because it is literally a death sentence. Life expectancy is 2 to 5 years, and very few beat those odds. The motor neurons, which carry the signals from the brain to the muscles, die. People become paralyzed within their own body while their mind stays fully present. And in case you might have forgotten, the diaphragm is a muscle that moves your lungs, that keeps you breathing. So what happens is patients die from suffocation. My husband was diagnosed 17 years ago, and still today, there is no known cause and no known cure. We're given the gift of the Holy Spirit so that when we can't think, pray, rest, or breathe, He can do it for us. When we just don't have the capacity, the strength, or the wherewithal to think straight. And let me tell you, after getting news like this, you can't think at all. I have no doubt that there are many of you who have experienced this same kind of numb, blank fog that filters into your brain. It can be paralyzing. And yet God, in His infinite mercy, kept me breathing by the power of the Holy Spirit, that Ruach HaKodesh, which is the Hebrew for Holy Spirit. How do you measure a year in your life? How do you measure the life in your year? It's not something we think about until we're forced to. And usually it's a crisis that makes us really think about what matters. If you were given the news that you had only 2 to 5 years to live, what would you do? What would be on the top of your bucket list? When I asked my husband what he wanted to do while he still could, his answer was, Rachel, I want to keep things as normal for our family as possible. I was somewhat surprised. What, no climbing Mount Everest, sailing around the world, meeting somebody famous? I might have chosen differently, but I realized how important it was for me to honor John's request and how important it would be to keep honoring his requests. Our relationship, which had always been strong, started to crack a little bit. Those stress fractures could have become crippling breaks, but we treated them before they could really do more damage. I sought out counseling from a faith-based therapist so I could help John finish well and still navigate all of the constant changes. One day, after a particularly difficult week, I walked into my therapist's office and I looked at her and I said, why am I so tired? I don't understand why I'm so anxious. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. Why am I so cranky? I have faith. I love Jesus. Shouldn't that make all of this easier? She looked at me and said, very matter-of-factly, Rachel, Jesus was a man, and Jesus had 12 guys helping him. Uh, you're not Jesus, but you might need some help. You don't need to or have to go through all of this alone. It was at that moment that I realized allowing people to help me wasn't a sign of weakness or failure. It would be the component of lessening the chaos in our life, and our community was happy to provide it. Some of you may have helped someone finish well. I had no clue how to do this. It's overwhelming. It's out of our comfort zone. It's scary. It's sad. And it shakes up our soul. And yet, it will happen to every one of us. That day will come when we will draw our last breath and leave this world. If you're in a hard space right now, I want to remind you of the story of Moses, who, as you may recall, had as close to a face-to-face relationship with God as possible. Do you remember when Moses told God he wanted to know him more? He wanted to really get to know the character of God. What did God do? God put Moses in the cleft of a rock and said, I will protectively cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen. God put Moses in a hard place so that he could perceive the glory of the Lord. He could only see his back, not his face, ever. When we're in these hard places, we may not feel the presence of the Lord. And yet later, when we reflect on what or how God brought us through, we become acutely aware of his backside as he has left his mark on us during this time. We often wonder, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do bad things happen to believers? Is God mad at me? Did I displease him? Do I not love him enough? Well, why would we think for 1 minute that we don't have to endure any suffering? Look at what Jesus endured on our behalf. And he knew ahead of time what was going to happen. Can I just say that I am so grateful that I can't see all of my life at once? I think most of us, myself included, had a pretty little picture painted inside of my head of what my life would look like. God, in his mercy, only allows us to see and experience moments of life at a time, ultimately allowing us to choose to surrender or wander aimlessly. Don't misunderstand. Even with the surrender, we stumble, we fall, we weep, we wail, we question, we hurt. And yet we know throughout it all, hope prevails. A peace that passes all understanding and a knowledge that just as God passed by Moses, this too, this struggle, this season shall pass. And once again, we can't help but testify to the goodness and the glory of our God. We may not get the happily ever after that we wished for, but know that the hopefully ever after can lead us to a life more abundantly in him. Thank you for sharing these moments with me today. I invite you to join me at spiritedprosperity.com to receive additional moments of inspiration. And I would also invite you to purchase my memoir, The Widow Chose Red. It's now available at Amazon, and proceeds from the book will benefit the Live Like Lou Foundation, which is boots on the ground for so many people still struggling with ALS. Thank you and Godspeed.